The late afternoon sunlight spilled through my parents' sprawling mansion, warming the marble floors as our family gathered for the yearly summer barbecue. Victoria, my ever-glamorous sister, was stretched out by the pool in her latest luxury swimsuit, while I kept to myself on a shaded patio chair, quietly scanning the final architectural plans for what would soon become the tallest tower in the entire city. "Emma, sweetheart, put that laptop away," my mother called. "This is a party, not your office." I gave her a polite smile. Tomorrow's groundbreaking ceremony would shift the entire skyline, and my life. But for the moment, I played the role they expected, the unremarkable daughter in plain jeans and a simple white top Victoria had already mocked as discount chic. "Still doodling those tiny buildings?" Victoria teased, sliding her Gucci sunglasses up her nose. Adorable. If only she knew those tiny buildings were transforming sustainable architecture across multiple continents. Over the last 10 years, I'd quietly built my firm into a global leader in green design. "Speaking of real estate," my father said, easing into his lounger, "Victoria just purchased her third vacation home." "Aspen this time." Victoria lit up. "4 bedrooms, private lift to the slopes. Michael's bonus was fantastic this year." My mother sighed, turning her disappointed gaze toward me. "Meanwhile, Emma is still renting that cramped little apartment downtown." I sipped my water, thinking of the penthouse I actually lived in, when I wasn't traveling between our international offices. "I like the apartment," I said lightly. "You like it because that's all you can afford," Victoria laughed. "Remember when she rejected Dad's partnership offer to start her own tiny company?" My phone vibrated. "Final permits approved. Press embargo lifting at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Forbes exclusive ready." "I only want what's best for you," my mother said, patting my hand in that familiar condescending way. "You can still join your father's development firm. A real job with a real paycheck." If she only knew my supposedly tiny company bought Dad's firm half a year ago. "The market is booming right now," Victoria continued. "Even on your small salary, you could manage a condo. Michael knows a broker who works with low-income buyers." Another notification, Mayor confirmed for tomorrow. Live media coverage locked in. "What exactly are you working on these days?" my father asked, squinting at my laptop. Before I could answer, Victoria jumped in. "Probably some small remodel. That's all her reputation gets her." I almost laughed. In less than a day, that reputation would be on every major news outlet. My phone buzzed again. "Specs final, 128 stories. Tallest building in the region. Your signature engraved on the facade, visible from 3 states." "Actually," my father said thoughtfully, "I heard whispers about a major new tower downtown, a groundbreaking eco-project. My firm lost the bid to some mysterious new competitor." I kept my face calm, though the truth thrilled me. That competitor was one of my shell companies. On that note, Victoria added, "Did you see the article about that anonymous female billionaire architect? Whoever she is, she's changing the industry." "Imagine that," my mother said dramatically, glancing at me. "Some women actually accomplish great things." Lunch arrived, served by staff from my own 5-star hotel, though my family, of course, didn't know that. Victoria pretended to be generous. "I can cover Emma's meal. She's probably budgeting every penny." Another ping from my legal team, share transfer completed. "You now own 60% of downtown real estate. After tomorrow's reveal, you'll officially be the city's largest property owner." "Emma, darling," my mother murmured, "I noticed you were taking the bus recently. We can help with a down payment on a car." "The bus works for me," I said. "It's humiliating," Victoria declared. "A Marshall family member riding public transpo." "Public transport," Victoria scoffed. "Thank goodness none of my friends have ever seen you on it." Dad unfolded the morning newspaper, eyes narrowing at the business headlines. "Interesting, this anonymous architect is supposed to unveil something massive tomorrow. Apparently it'll reshape the entire skyline." Must be nice to be that accomplished, Victoria said with a smug smile. Not like someone who can barely keep up with rent. At that exact moment, a message flashed across my phone. Final inspection complete. Walker Tower is ready for the public reveal. All 128 stories fully certified. Shall we proceed with the name reveal? I typed back, yes. Proceed. Can't you at least tell us what project you're working on? My mother insisted. A little office remodel? A storefront update? You could say the project's reaching new heights, I said with a hint of amusement. Victoria laughed loudly. How high can you aim from a rented shoebox? Honestly, Emma, you can't afford a house, let alone build anything meaningful. The sun glinted off my laptop, still open to the final renderings of Walker Tower. Tomorrow, everyone would learn that the sister they dismissed had built more than a skyscraper. She had built an empire. Dad's phone buzzed. He read the preview of an upcoming article, his expression tightening with confusion. I shut my laptop and stood. Does anyone want breakfast downtown tomorrow? Around 9? I'd like to show you something. The next morning was clear, ideal for a major announcement. From my real office, the entire 50th floor of one of my buildings, I watched helicopters hovering above the future site of Walker Tower. At 8:55 a.m., my family arrived downstairs, bewildered and barely caffeinated. Emma, my mother said as my security team escorted them up, what is going on? And why is every news outlet in the city outside? They stepped into my office, and froze. Wall-to-wall windows showcased the city skyline, and screens throughout the room streamed live feeds from my global projects. Where are we? Victoria whispered, gripping her designer bag. This is my office, I said casually. One of them, anyway. Then their phones chimed almost in unison, the media embargo had just lifted. Breaking news, identity of mystery architect revealed, Emma Walker Marshall to launch world's most sustainable skyscraper. Dad's voice trembled as he read, Emma Marshall, CEO of Walker Sustainable Developments, announces the groundbreaking of Walker Tower, valued at $4.2 billion. Victoria snatched the phone. Walker Sustainable Developments, annual revenue over $12 billion, projects across 5 continents, her face drained of color. Wait. Those little designs you were working on? I tapped a button. A wall-sized display lit up with images of my global developments. They've done fairly well. My mother sank into a sleek leather chair. But you, take the bus. I support eco-friendly transit, I replied. Also, I own the bus company. A helicopter swept into view outside, my helicopter, its body emblazoned with the Walker Developments logo. That tiny apartment, Victoria whispered weakly. Is the penthouse of a building I own, I said. Actually, I own most of downtown now. Including Dad's company. Surprise, you've been working for me for 6 months. Dad's face drained. The mysterious buyer, that was you? Ms. Marshall? My assistant stepped in. The mayor and the press are assembled for the ceremony, ma'am. The screens shifted to live news coverage, showing reporters gathered around a shrouded scale model at the Walker Tower site. And that's not even the full story, I said, pulling up the blueprints. Walker Tower will become the first skyscraper on Earth to fully sustain itself, I finished. Zero carbon output, groundbreaking solar integration, vertical gardens every few floors. Every unit is already leased, and there's a Fortune 500 waiting list. Victoria's gaze flicked from the blueprint to the window, and the office tower her company occupied. So that's why our rents suddenly shot up. I grinned. Yes, I bought that building too. But don't worry, I'm generous with family. After Walker Tower's public reveal, everything shifted. The smug remarks about my tiny firm disappeared. So did the sympathy about my humble lifestyle. Now, during our weekly Sunday dinners, held in my real penthouse complete with rooftop garden and a helipad, my family sat speechless as world leaders requested meetings. president of Singapore on line 1, my assistant said as we finished dessert, regarding the Marina Bay development. My mother's eyes widened. The president? Let him know I'll return the call later, I said, sipping tea. This is family time. Victoria, once proud of flaunting her vacation homes, now could barely maintain eye contact. Ever since Forbes listed my net worth at $18.2 billion, her bragging rights had evaporated. Emma, my father began carefully, about the firm's sustainable redesign. Already taken care of, I replied. My board approved the $100 million overhaul last week. Every property we own is transitioning to zero emissions. My mother, still reeling, gestured helplessly at my simple black turtleneck. But sweetheart, with your resources, you could wear any designer you want. I chuckled. I don't need their labels, Mom. I own the factories that produce them. Out the windows, the skyline glowed with change. Walker Tower's radical design had sparked global interest. My inbox was overflowing with collaboration requests from governments and industry giants. Ms. Marshall, my assistant said, stepping back into the room, the royal household confirmed next month's consultation for the Net Zero Palace. Victoria sputtered into her wine. The royal family? Just a small assignment, I said lightly, remembering her jabs about my tiny projects. The Queen cares deeply about sustainability. My father wandered toward the scale model of Walker Tower in the living room, awe in his expression. All these years, we thought that I was barely getting by, I finished gently. Meanwhile, I was building something real. Something that matters. Across the room, muted evening news coverage showed Walker Tower rising steadily, the structure already being hailed as the future of green architecture. But why keep it from us? My mother asked softly. Would you have believed me? I replied. You were focused on appearances, brands, status, image. I wanted to focus on substance. On creating value, not pretending to have it. My phone buzzed. Tokyo approved Walker District proposal. 200-acre sustainable city underway. You know, I said, watching the sunset burn gold across the skyline, success isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you were right all along. Victoria stared at her reflection in the glass, her designer clothes suddenly insignificant next to the empire reflected behind her. All the times I belittled you. Taught me patience, I said softly. And how powerful it is to be underestimated. As they gathered their things to leave, still stunned, my father paused at the door. Emma, we were. It's all right, I said warmly, turning back toward the window where cranes continued lifting the future into the sky. Everything unfolded exactly how it needed to. The following morning, headlines would announce Walker Development's expansion into sustainable city design. My once dismissed company was about to transform not just buildings, but entire worlds. Sometimes, success speaks louder than anything you could ever say.